Okay, I am writing this paper for sex education should be offered in high school. The first thing I start off with when I'm doing a research, I go to Google and I'm going to type in sex education for teens. Whenever I see a .org, I've been taught that it's credible in the website, so they'll probably be the first thing I look at. And usually I always keep pen and pencil and paper with me because I write out my papers before I type them. Um, if that site doesn't have anything I like, I go back to my search in Google and maybe click on the next thing. Um, when I'm taught to do papers like this, I'm always taught to choose a side. So I would say that sex education should be offered. So what I would do is come up with reasons why. I'll start off with I maybe pick like three topics and then explain each topic like three reasons why, and then they will conduct my paper. Start off with one reason, then write for on that reason for a little while, then start off on the next reason and then write on that for a little while, then the next reason, then I'll put it together a conclusion stating all of my reasons. Um, let's see. If I'm writing on sex education, I'll probably start with um diseases or something like that that you can catch. Search that. And also when if I'm doing a research on this topic, I save all my work from high school and all that, so still have some of my health books. I'll go refer back to those too. I refer back to a lot of things I had in high school because I never throw away any of my work ever. Um, hmm, what else would I search? Really, Google is like my main thing. Google and old work from high school or my previous classes that I've taken in college. Um, Also, I do a lot of citing because I think that makes your paper more interesting. And my main citation tool I use is Son of a Citation because it's very easy. All you do is they give you a template to where you put your stuff, you put your information, and it generates your citation for you. So all you gotta do is press copy and paste it to your paper, and it's simple. Especially, and you can choose from MLA, APA, whatever your teacher wants you to do. So that's simple. Um, let's see. Hmm. I don't really go to the library too much to look up my information because I think the library is kind of puts me to sleep. So I don't really go to the library at all unless I just absolutely have to. Um, let's see. Even though we're not supposed to, I do copy and paste, but I paraphrase. I copy and paste something and I'll write it down, but then I'll change it in a way that's meant for me, so it won't be like I'm plagiarizing. But at the same time, it's like, how can you not plagiarize when you're looking up information and you're receiving the information? I guess if it's a research paper, you have to kind of use other people's work, but if I take it straight from the source, I always use citations. Um, where else would I look for information? Mm, let's see. Uh-oh. Um, I think that's it. Google is just like my main everything. And anything with a .org. Okay. Oh, also, if I'm doing a paper on sex education, I'll look up how um teen pregnancy. I'll include that too because I would look up how if kids are getting taught sex education and how to prevent getting pregnant in high school, they would it'll be a less teen pregnancy rate. Um, so I'll look up the rates for teen pregnancy. I'll use Google for that as well. So in my search engine, I would put look up the teen pregnancy statistics, and here's another site that popped up, and it ends in .gov, so that might be credible as well. Um, oh, another topic I would write about is how to prevent STDs. I'll use that as one of my reasons. So I would probably look up statistics on teens and STDs. hmm And I also put that in Google. Mm. And here's another advocatesforyouth.org. Like I said before, usually when I'm doing papers, I look up with things that have .org in it because that's mostly going to be most credible. And when I'm writing a paper, I really just write down a lot of facts and put them together to make them into a paper. So I always do bullet points and write them down. I never type my paper as I go along. I always write everything down and type my paper at the end. I never type while doing my paper. Um, oh yeah, one thing I do use is I do open up a Word document and I copy and paste every website I use and I put it in a Word document so I can have that at the end and include that in all my citations as well. And or if I need to go back and look up some more information, I'll have that Word document with all my websites that I visited on it. And that's about it, I think, that I do to research a paper.
Okay, I'm writing a paper for my web design class. Paper on basically how to use W3 schools as well as anything else just pertain to a basic web page. The first thing I'll do is pull up my web browser. In this case, would be Chrome. Log in and go to Folio to find out what the assignment requires of me. Give me 1 second. After going to my webpage, I just find out that I'm just required to discover or research why, I guess, some basics of what a webpage requires in this class, and go on. I would then pull up a Word document to keep some notes on the side. Just anything I find online for the website on this to the side, or save it, whatever I need to do, any notes I need to find. From there, I'll either go to Google and type in the website W3 Schools, which is what we use in class a lot to validate our web pages. One second. Okay, for the beginning of this paper, I think I'm going to start by, I guess, describing what a basic web page is to me, and that is basically the code, the format, the styling, and all that kind of stuff. So for there, I'll also pull up a Google page on the side to kind of like look up any questions I have on those things if I can't find this in W3 Schools webpage. I see a lot of examples of it, and from here I'm gonna kind of copy and paste some examples over, not to my paper, but for like a reference side of what I think what the web pages require for the coding. Uh, the whole point of me doing this is more so to find sure I have an easy way to like to switch between paper from notes to paper, from website to paper. So I try to keep everything pulled up at once, so I can kind of keep flipping back and forth, so without having to keep going back and rewinding and all that kind of stuff. Google, I'm typing in also. I'm going to Google to type in any other like web page examples. For example, I'm gonna type Google search for a basic HTML code because that's required for me for this paper. And it also took me to through school. It's funny, but also down here I see HTMLgoodies.com, basichtml.com, and turnospoint.com. These are also web pages that I use a lot in this class for I guess keep writing web pages, but also they're great reference pages. So I'll pull up two different tabs for them as well, just so I can keep flipping back to those. I have to keep going back. And when I went to htmlgoodies.com, it gave me a good little paragraph on what they think a web page is. From here, I will read the paragraph and try to find out good highlighter points I will use. On my computer at home, I don't know if I can do it on this one, but I can. I'll go to Tools on Google Chrome, look for the highlighter tools, and highlight certain things web page I think is important to pull up. If I can't do it here, what I normally do at home is copy the whole thing over to my notes page, and in Word I will highlight some important facts for me for the web page. I mean for my paper. Here I'm learning about paragraph tags, header tags, image tags, which are very important bases to a web page. But also it's kind of helped me decide what I want to write for my paper, and I'm thinking more lines of like, I guess the basics would be the header tag, which is the stuff, the backbone of the website, kinda. The body tags kind of telling you what's gonna be on the website, what's gonna be on the paper, and the styles and images, kind of basically the style of the website. So I guess I'm trying to keep along that type of thing, as well as the formatting, the bold and italics. And I want to describe more about what HTML is. So again, if I can't find any of these three web pages I have pulled up, I will go back to Google and type in define HTML, or just HTML in general. They'll give me a definition for that. And again, W3 schools. But they also came up with Wikipedia. Wikipedia, I try to avoid it best I can, but I'm not opposed to at least looking at it and just kind of like getting maybe not necessarily anything to write with, but more so like what people have written to say what they think Wikipedia should be. The bad thing with Wikipedia is that people can go in and change it or write what they want to. Some people would be funny, some people would be seriously trying to give you information. But it's just the fact that anybody can come here and change anything they want to about it, and I don't want to risk my grade or paper or plagiarism by taking bad information down. But I will look up and read what I can because it's been recommended to take advice you can get it from, but not necessarily copy it. Find your own advice. Or, yeah, you get it. Um, okay, I'm getting a basic definition of what HTML is. from Wikipedia as well as the other websites kind of give me kind of the same definition, so I can kind of validate that it is not necessarily Wikipedia, but what definition I was given is factual. So I can go ahead and put a note to the side for my paper. Now the reason I'm doing this is knowing what I like to do at first. I like to put in like I guess some broad notes that I know I can already expand on or talk about later on, or just kind of like stuff I already know about, more so to kind of expand on easier than just having like trying to rush last minute to just go back and forth between the paper. So I try to get at least, let's say the paper requires, I don't know, for example, 4 paragraphs, or I'm sorry, 4 pages. Uh, let's say it requires 4 pages, and I'm trying to decide how to make that stretch out. What I do is try to find at least 4 or 5 good topics that I know I can at least get 3 good paragraphs out per topic, and that kind of help me expand on that. HTML is the most broad topic of my paper so far, so I kind of keep talking about that. And same thing with the style body format tag. You can get books upon books of these, but I just want really a few paragraphs. So from here, that now once I get all my information gathered together, I would try to write my paper, as well as still keeping the web page I have pulled up in different tags, just so I can go back later and cite them or give them credit for what they've given me. Not trying to get caught plagiarizing here. It's not never good. Um, Mostly what I guess I'm doing here for my overall research is I use web pages a lot for my research. I mean my internet a lot for my researches, because I feel like the internet you can get more of a broad search of anywhere in the world. I also use my textbook more so because I think that's what more the teacher would like me to do, because that's kind of like the broad overall broadness of the class. So I guess I will go from there as there as well. I think that's pretty much it. From here, I will go on to write my paper, and afterwards, I get writing the long paper. I will try to cite the sources at the end, do whatever format the teacher wants to cite it on, and from there, I think I'm pretty much done. Thank you for listening. You have a great day. Bye.
I am writing a paper on poverty for my English class. The first place I look for information is Google. I think it has a lot of sources on there, and a lot of results come up, and I just go through them and choose which one is the best. In my FYE class, we're learning to decipher which ones are, accurate, and which ones are with the accurate enough information. So, I mean, I'm a little about that. Um, I begin the research process basically just by typing in my topic. My topic is poverty, so I might type in different things about poverty, like the poverty level in America, or um, just different stuff about that, because I feel like I'll get more information if I just type in the topic. Um, Sometimes I'll go to Galileo as a library source, because I learned about Galileo. Something popped up. Is it good? Oh, okay. I learned about Galileo in 10th grade, right there. Mm, okay. Okay. I learned about Galileo 10th grade year. My English teacher taught us how to use it and different things like that. And sometimes I'll go back to that website and type in my topic. Sometimes I think Galileo is like a little too like tedious and confusing sometimes, so I don't always go there. That's not my first choice. When I do have a source that I do want to use, I tend to write it down, like on a piece of paper or something like that, and then later on I'll go back, and when it's time for me to write my work citation, I'll go back to my piece of paper and I'll, work on that, and then that's how I keep up with my sources. Um, I'm getting better on properly citing them, because sometimes I'll just, put in the what is it called? The web link instead of properly citing it. But when I have like a book or something like that, I know how to cite it from there. But I'm working on citing websites and different articles from the websites so I can be doing it correctly and not plagiarizing anything or anything like that. Um, the way I choose my links are if if they have a lot of information, or I see like copyright things at the bottom. What research? Oh, for poverty. Okay. 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 Hmm. I'll type in my topic in Google or something, and I'll choose a link. And if I feel like it's not, going to help me in any kind of way, I'll exit out and try the other ones. Um, hmm. If I type in, my topic is poverty, so if I type in poverty and I don't get the results that I'm looking for, enough information, I'll go in again and I'll type something like poverty in America, or solutions on poverty, something like that, so I can get more information for my paper and just use different things to write about. When I pick a link and I look through it and I like the information, sometimes I'll either write it down, or if I'm like right there on the paper, I'll copy it and then paste it in my paper and then cite it in my paper and try to, just explain more about my topic, you know, about the quote that I used. Mm, if I can't really find information online, which is really rare because I do find information online, but if sometimes the teacher says, oh, you have to have like a book source or something like that, of course I'll go to the library and ask the librarian because I'm a little, sketchy on finding books in the library. So I'll ask the librarian, to help me. I'll tell them my topic, and then like she'll pull different books out that'll help. And then I'll just look through the book and, decide what I want to use and stuff like that. Mm, yeah, that's about it. I typed in solutions to poverty, and I found an article on what President Obama said about the top 5 solutions to cut poverty, and I'm just reading that now to see if I want to use that later on for my paper. Um, I mean, everything looks good. I'll just have to. Um, if I don't really know how to cite something, I'll use Al Purdue and I'll type in, the information that I collected from the article and I'll put that in there and then it'll help me, cite it for my paper. And the link looks, official and all that, so I'll probably use it in my paper. So, hmm, like I said, I'll write down the source and I'll keep it and I'll come back to it later when I'm ready to like write down all my sources and things like that. And if sometimes when I'm writing my papers and I want to stop and take a break or something like that, of course I'll save what I already wrote, but the information that I collect from the sources that I use, sometimes I'll just write them down in my notebook and then I'll decipher them out later and see which ones I want to pick or see which one I use. Write down a lo- I usually write down a lot and just decipher which ones I really think would like help my paper out a lot more. Because I'm not really a confident writer, so I feel like my quotes and the stuff, the sources that I put into my paper have to be like really good so I can explain them. So it'll help me out more. Um, I try not to wait till the last minute to do my papers, but mm, that doesn't always help. It doesn't always happen that way. Um, what do I say now? Okay.
I'm writing a paper on 401ks for a class in financial stability in college and beyond. The first place I look for information is Georgia Southern's library website. I begin the research by typing in 401ks or 401k in the search engine that's on the website because that's what first shows up. Then I go to the left side of the page and limit the results to full text and scholarly peer reviewed journals because I feel like those are accurate and reliable sources. I'm looking for an article still. I'm going to choose the link. That'll take me to the article saying traditional 401ks versus the new Roth 401ks because the title looks like something I can understand. I'd first read the abstract just to make sure that it's going to be somewhere or something about what I want to know. If it's going to give me information on the actual 401k and how it compares to other or new versions. I'm going to save this source because the abstract says that it's going to abstract shows that it's going to talk about the Roth 401k and how it is different from the traditional 401k and talk about the retirement plan and financial factors influencing the decision of which one a person would take. I keep up with the information I locate by printing out the article. I'm going to change my search by checking off of the scholarly peer-reviewed journals because I couldn't find, or there weren't many links that I wanted to click on the other one. And I feel like it would give me more of a summary or more opinion based if I took it off of the peer-reviewed journals. I didn't change my search terms and I'm scrolling looking for an article or link to choose. I'm going to choose the second article, 401k free escape artists, because the information prior to clicking on the link says that it presents information and advice on the 401k retirement plans. I'm not going to save this source because it doesn't give me an overview of the 401k. It's more for people who actually have one and know what they're doing. It doesn't explain anything really. I'm going to change my search terms to 401k and retirement because I feel like maybe that will decrease my results, which it did. I'm going to choose another link saying retirement account options when beginning a career because the description says first starts off with when college graduates begin their careers. And since I'm in college, I feel like maybe it will be useful for me and for my research. I'll start off reading the abstract on the PDF full text. So once again, I can get another good idea about what the article will be about. And I will save this source because it claims to um, explain 401ks and all of the alternatives to retirement plans. And I'll print it out once again and just keep it with all of my other sources. I normally stay on the library's website unless I can't find any articles, but obviously the results are showing that there is a lot of information on the 401k, and normally I just find enough outside sources to meet the requirements of the paper, or when I feel like I have enough information. So I'm continuing to scroll and look for more articles that will, or links that seem useful. There's a link that's called In Praise of 401ks, and it is more for the positive aspects of the 401k retirement account, so I'm going to click on that. I'm going to keep this source because one, it explains what a 401k is, it tells you if you want one or not, what you should do if you do have one, and other alternatives. And at the end, it also shows that the author shows what the author does and why he is someone you can trust. So then I go back and continue to look for more articles. I haven't changed my search terms because I think that these results are better than the ones before. I'm going to change the publication date though, because it's in the range from 1924 to 2015, and I'm sure it's changed since then.
Okay, I'm writing a paper on Ebola for English 1102. Okay, I'm on the Georgia Southern Library website because that's where the search bar is for, I guess, Discover, Galileo, I don't know. Okay, my first search was Ebola because I want some general information on the virus. Okay, I'm scrolling through the articles trying to find one to click on. Okay, I'm gonna come back here later. Okay, now I'm searching Ebola on the CDC website to get some factual information. I chose the CDC because it is, I feel, the most reliable source for um, diseases that are contagious. Okay, I'm looking at the signs and symptoms page, just because probably in the beginning of my paper I'd want to talk about what Ebola is and symptoms before I get into talking about the recent outbreak. Okay, now I'm looking at the transmission page, just to add some more general information. Okay, and now I'm looking at the history of Ebola outbreaks, just to get some background on the virus. Okay, so if I was writing this paper, it would probably be on the recent Ebola outbreak. So I'd give some background on past cases, but I'd also, the main point of the paper would be about just this year, 2014. So now I'm looking at the, what is this? Okay, it's an academic journal article. Just to get, oops. Okay, so this article is showing some ways that the World Health Organization and the CDC tried to contain the outbreak and control it. So that could be another point that I could touch on in my paper. I would trust this article because both authors are doctors, and let's see. Yeah, and just this like 4-page article, they have 10 resources or reference pages that they used, and those look like reliable sources, so this would be a good source to use. And this paper also talks about the actual confirmed cases, but it also adds in probable cases and suspected cases, just because not all of the cases are probably reported. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Google and just look up some just regular news articles on it. So I'm clicking on Google, or searched Ebola in Google, and then I clicked on the news tab. And so most of this is about the doctor that is free of Ebola, meaning there's no more cases of Ebola in the United States. Yeah, I would probably use the news articles if I wanted something that was really up to date, like on a week, things that have happened the last week or month. But I know not all of these are always accurate because the news will say one thing and then change it quickly after. Okay, what else do I want to look up? Okay, so now I'm back on Discover, and I'm going to search. Okay, so I'm going to change my option on the left side. I'm going to check off the scholarly and peer-reviewed sources, and I'm going to change the dates to just in the last 4 years, so 2010 to 2014. Oops. Okay, and then I'm going to change my search keyword to Ebola treatment, because I want more information on treatment. So I'd probably go into talking about what the disease is, and then talk about the recent issues with Ebola, and then at the end I would talk about treatment and maybe what we have to look forward to in the future for curing the disease or virus. Well, I guess it's a virus, so you can't cure it. Treating the virus. Okay, so I just clicked on the first article that came up. And okay, this is not what I was looking for, but it's just talking about this article is very scientific and I can't understand it, so I'm not going to use it. Okay, so I just clicked on an article about professional responsibilities for the treatment of patients. And that was another thing that was in the news, talking about the nurse that contracted Ebola, and one of the reasons why she probably got it is because they said that she didn't have any training on how to react to the disease. Okay, also, so if I was logged into my account right now, I would click on this folder on the right side. I think that's what it was, or anyway, there's a way to save all the journal articles that you want in your folder, and then when you sign into your student account, it's all right there. So that's what I'd be using to keep track of all the articles that I looked at. Okay, so yeah, this is a short article, and this just came out in October, so this might be a good one to talk about, to use just to talk about how better following better policies at hospitals could prevent the spread. Okay, I don't know how to get to this one. Okay, so I clicked on this article, and I can see the abstract, but I don't know how to actually get to what I'm trying to read. So I'm not going to use it, but it looked like a good article. Okay. So I'm still looking. Right now I'm kind of looking for an article that just has a general explanation for different treatments, not so much just some of these look like they're for like experimental treatments and not just what they actually are doing. So here's another one on experimental therapies and vaccines. Okay. Okay, I still don't know how to get to these things. Hang on. Okay, so I just clicked on the find it link because these links, I don't know how to get to the actual articles. Okay, so it's not available online. Okay, or I can click on search for resource in Gill and then interlibrary loan delivery. Okay, let's see what my options are. Okay, so now I know, and I can't see the article, that means it's not available online. Okay. So this one is... Okay, so this one's at the library in print. And I can go check out the magazine, it looks like. Okay, and then let's see if the interlibrary loan, I'm supposed to log in, so I can't do that. Okay. Alright, so then here's another, looks like a magazine article, Ebola treatments caught in limbo. And this one is not available online. So let's see if it's at the library. Yes, so it's at the library on the second floor. So I could check that one out. Okay.
I'm researching international fraud topics in international accounting. I'm starting by opening the Google Chrome Explorer and logging in to my Georgia Southern. I'm opening the Wall Street Journal to find current news topics. I'm going to business and scrolling through the current listings for today. I see one article about private equity buys for $10 billion in SEMA assets, so I'm opening that article. The article is from London, and it looks like private equity firms are trying to acquire the assets as a part of a merger. So this looks like a topic that I would use. I'm now opening a Word document so I can copy and paste the link to the article. I'm putting a 1 by the website in the Word document so I know that that is my first source. Usually when I write a paper, I just put 1 for the internal citation and I go back at the very end and put more and put the actual reference in there when I do my works cited page. I'm now opening google.com and typing in international accounting fraud topics for 2014. About the 5th hit down, there is an impact of fraud in fluctuating currencies. It looks like there's a lot more information on this topic, so this looks like a better selection. I'm going to copy and paste the website into the Word document and delete the first one. I'm going back to the Google page and typing in foreign currency fraud. And there is a hit from the United States Commodity Futures Trading Commission as the first selection. This article describes how the scams work and what regulators are doing to help combat the scams and the warning signs of fraud. This looks like it would be good for the background of the paper or for an introduction. I'm putting the website in the Word document as number 2. And I'm copying and pasting parts of the article I find interesting into the Word document so I can highlight them and know that they came from source 2. And the highlighting means it came straight from the article. I want to use an example of a foreign currency trading fraud, so I'm going back to Google search and typing in 2014 foreign currency fraud case. And there's a publication from the IRS about examples of general fraud investigations for fiscal year 2014. I'm selecting the irs.gov website because it is from the IRS and it's a reputable website. And there are several cases of foreign currency fraud and tax evasion listed on the page. So I'm searching for foreign currency fraud. I don't see anything right off. I see a lot of tax evasion and money laundering, but nothing specifically related to foreign currency frauds. I'm about halfway through the page and I still haven't found anything. So I'm doing Control F to search for currency. That option is not working on this page, so I'm going back to the Google search. And there is a website from the United States Commodity Futures Trading Commission from August 29th, 2014, where a California resident was charged with currency fraud. The website is cftc.gov. So I'm copying this website into the Word document as source number 3. I'm going back to the web page, and the main paragraph is about halfway down, and it's talking about how much the man currently stole and a little bit of information about that. So I'm copying that paragraph onto the Word document and highlighting it in yellow. I'm going back to the Google search and I'm searching for foreign currency fraud. International. There's a website from the FBI listing common fraud schemes. I mainly see identity theft and Nigerian fraud schemes. I don't see any information on there, so I'm going back to the Wall Street Journal. And in the search bar, I'm typing in foreign currency fraud and searching that. There's an article from 9/14/14 about flipped bankers aid U.S. in foreign exchange probe. It looks like the article is talking about Bank of America and several other companies committed a fraud. So I'm copying and pasting this website into the Word document to come back to later once I find some more information to decide which direction the paper is going in. I'm going back to the Wall Street Journal and seeing what other recent articles are available. There's an article about the UK competition watchdog joins currency probe. This looks like a good article because it's international and is talking about the UK. And the subheading is investigation focuses on possible rigging of the 5.3 trillion a day market. So this looks like a good website to use. I'm copying and pasting this website into the Word document as source number 5. And I'd like to find another article in an Asian market so that different international aspects can be explored. So in the search bar, I'm typing in foreign currency fraud Asia. And it doesn't look like I have new search results. So I'm going back to the Google search. And searching foreign